So tonight I thought I'd take you down to my gym. It's just a local gym here in Xiaolan. In China, there's many different types of gyms. You have your higher end, you have your very low end, you have your mid-range. Mine is a mid-range, and I'm quite satisfied with it. I mean, it's not like a super luxurious type of gym, but it does the trick, and it's not dirty either. So I'm pretty stoked with it, and I'll give you a quick tour of what it's like. So this is what the men's locker room looks like. You got a little sauna here, showers, nothing fancy, but that does the trick. And of course, toilets in the end. I'm assuming the female is the same. And of course, they have the squatter toilet. Free weights. And of course, all of this. The dude that owns this gym has a pretty gnarly bike. Very illegal. Awesome though. Can't ride this during the day. Well, I'm sorry for the shaking, but I just got done with my workout, so I got the adrenaline going a little bit. But that was a little bit of my gym. Now the price for that gym is pretty good. I live in a small town, and that's probably the nicest gym in town. There's a couple other ones in here. That one's about 1,000 RMB for the year is what I paid. That's pretty good, 1,000 RMB. Compare that to what it costs back in the States. I'll put the dollars on here somewhere, what that equates to. The yoga studio is something different. That's a separate vendor within the gym, which is kind of unique. Most gyms have their own, like yoga program, part of the VIP package. This one is, I think it was 1,900 for a year, which is if you take yoga classes back home, you can know that's pretty good price. Or you can take it for 28 RMB per class, which is less than $5. I mean, that's also pretty amazing. I'm a big fan of the yoga. Been practicing yoga for about 7 or 8 years, and it's a great little complement to your weight training and to your cardio. I recommend it to everybody. Now, one problem with that gym, and I didn't mention it before, was there's no air conditioning. I've been told that that's very common amongst Asian gyms, not just here in China, but also in like places like Korea and Vietnam and Thailand, maybe even Cambodia. I'm sure Cambodia too. But it just gives you a better sweat, especially in the summertime, man. You're drenched in there. But it also means it can be a little bit dirtier, so you gotta be prepared for that. Now, those who also know me know that I'm a big fan of trail running and hiking, especially trail running. And one of the big downfalls about where I live is that there are no hiking trails anywhere close by. You gotta take like a 2-hour bus ride to get there. I can get there on my bike, but it's about an hour each way. And the other problem is there's no dirt. It's all concrete trails throughout the mountains, which is terrible on your knees and terrible on your ankles, especially for a barefoot runner like me. So I do miss LA's trails and mountains and stuff like that to go running on. My feet have not been the same since trying to run through the streets and the alleys here in town, or on those concrete trails in the mountains. It's kind of a shame, but you know, that's just the way it is. And I'm looking forward to going home in a couple of weeks and hitting the trails near Lake Arrowhead. That's going to be fun. All right, now of course, after a good workout, you've got to reward yourself. Get yourself a little starch, some vegetables, obviously some broccoli to go with it, right? And some protein, some steak. Now you got to be careful with the meat that you get here. I go to a fairly high-end market, but still that does not guarantee that the meat is any good. So there's all these stories you hear about frozen meat with all kinds of chemicals coming in from Argentina and from Brazil, even from America, and they catch this stuff, and it's really kind of scary where that meat ends up in restaurants and in markets. This meat, I mean, I've looked at it, it looks fairly decent, and from this store, it's called Lotus. It's a brand new store, and it's in a high-end part of town, and I've never had any issues with the meat there. Same thing with the produce. Produce is really, really great. Now, there's a wet market not far from me, and everyone says go to the wet market, it's cheaper, and it is, but I can't guarantee that the food's going to be any good. It looks good, but I don't know where it's grown. It could be grown in in contaminated soil, you know, in a polluted area. China, it's a hit or miss, and the government does look into this, but not consistently, and so you really just don't know. Even for like things like the produce, you have to be careful. Now, this is a certified organic, and I pay about twice as much for this produce. Yet, you know, for the potatoes, you know, I'm paying maybe, you know, for 4 potatoes, it's 50 cents altogether. I mean, it's kind of just ridiculous how cheap that is. The carrots, maybe $1 for 2 carrots, and the broccoli, maybe another $1 for a stick of broccoli. That's from a certified organic. It's even cheaper than that in the wet market, but why take the chance? I'm going to do my best to find something that that I can ingest without getting sick. And that was one of the things I was most worried about when I was coming to China. I even went to the doctor, said, "Doctor, what if I get food poisoning? Do you have any kind of pill I can take?" And he gave me some pills. I haven't had to use them once. I have not been sick here once. And I've eaten at some dodgy sidewalk restaurants and barbecue joints, not been sick once. So maybe I'm lucky, but because I hear these stories about everybody else getting sick here. But no, I can't say that anything bad has happened. So time to grub down after a good workout and then call it a night. Peace. All right, so I got it all chopped up, and it's all going to go in there into the wok. This is pretty good. This is a mixture. I got a little. It's water, a little bit of peanut oil. I got some chicken broth, some garlic, a little bit of chilies, very little bit of butter, some soy sauce. And then you bring it to a boil, and then you just throw all that in there, mix it up, and fry it. Oh, it's delicious. Oh yeah, look. Look how delicious this is. Oh, delicious. I can't wait. Bon appetit.